House concert number 3 with special guest Scooter the Cat. Some men love the ocean and they spend a life at sea. I need a forest, a life in the trees. Home is where the heart is, find yourself a good home. My heart is in the woodland, lost and alone. Deep in the woods where the highway can't be heard, I hear the sound of quiet in the absence of words. Born where I belong, and I belong here still. God made me a ridge runner, and he's rolling hills. When I was a young lad, my parents told me then, they said, go out in the woods, find yourself, young man. First it was to hunt and fish, and then deeper lessons came. Here I sit all alone, searching just the same. Deep in the woods where the highway can't be heard, I hear the sound of quiet in the absence of words. Born where I belong here still. God made me a ridge runner, and he's rolling hills. Are a mystery the longer that you stay. They will roll their way in your soul deeper each day. And even if you leave, they'll remain in your heart, in the way the world sees you and how you see the world. Deep in the woods where the highway can't be heard, I hear the sound of quiet in the absence of words. Born where I belong, and I belong here still. Made me a ridge runner, and he's rolling hills. I was too loud for the cat. Hey, I'm going to put the tip jar back out tonight. Thanks again for your continued donations. That's been real appreciated. I've had a couple more gigs cancel, and I think there's going to be more of that coming down the line. So your support is appreciated, and you don't need to make a donation to make a request, but I did want to honor some of the requests that came in. So I had a request for Ridge Runner. I'm going to do that. Had a request for this next song, Mining Town. And hey, I should also mention my friends in the North of 80 group put together a really nice songbook of a lot of these songs with chords and lyrics. And so if you're interested in learning some of my songs, I will post the, it's a free, as I recall, it's a PDF file. It's a free songbook that has a lot of these songs. I know Ridge Runner's in it, North of 80. I can't remember if this next song's in it or not, but I'll tell you about this guitar later. I have not used this guitar for these videos yet. I've been using my Con. This is a Contessa, and I'll tell you a little bit later. But first, a song, Mining Town. I was born in a mining town in the hills of the north. Lived up here all of my life, and I'll live up here some more. Had me some good times when the ore was running good, but the iron went down and it took the town. Now it's boarded up with wood. Spent some time on the riverbanks where I learned to sail the wind. My dad taught me how to catch breeze. By the time that I was 10, he'd say, keep an eye on the centerboard and a finger to the wind. Best darn words that I ever have heard about how to be a man. Well, I had the best of friends and we grew up on the hill. Stayed out long past dark dark until we got our fill. Playing games like kick the can, and we'd sleep outside by a fire. Dream about the years to come and the ones that passed us by. But we all got older and we had to look for pay. The iron mill was closing down, jobs they blew away. Took to cutting firewood and sold it by the cord. Saved enough to buy some land down on the river shore. I fixed up my dad's old boat and took to sailing once again. Anytime I got landlocked, I found freedom in the wind. I'd sail her day and night down on the Susie Q. My back to the wind when the days came in and the sail pushing through. Times got tough and crops were going dry. I had myself a whiskey still, making old rock and rye. I took to running moonshine on the river by the night. I made my rounds from town to town and my dollars by moonlight. But when it's time to bury me, you can lay me down over there, down where the mountains melt and the river flows into the air. I'll catch a tailwind and ride straight up to the Lord, and sail right out of this mining town up to the next world. So now as I'm leaving, I got one thing left to say. Let the words of my father guide you on your way. He'd say, keep an eye on the centerboard and a finger to the wind. Best darn words that I ever have heard about how to be a man. Best darn words that I ever have heard about how to be a man. Danville used to be a big iron town. Still is an iron town, you know, but I would think I was writing that from the perspective of when the iron ore was going down, which was the 1890s, and then eventually one by one the mills started to go out, until by the 30s and 40s, most of Danville's iron had really been had folded up. There were still some hanging on, don't get me wrong, through the 40s and 50s that were part of the war effort. But that early phase of the Montour Iron Works and all the local blast furnaces, that was all over. I worked some sailing in there because Dad used to take me sailing on the Susquehanna River. We had a sailboat that he bought with green stamps. If you're old enough to remember what green stamps were, if you had enough of them, somehow he got a sailboat. Let me tell you about this guitar. I love this thing. I'm a fan of no-name guitars as long as they're made right. That's rosewood back and sides, spruce top, and it's got a good tone, so I could care less of the fact that I never heard of the brand name Contessa. It was real common in the 1960s and 70s to have Japanese and Korean guitar makers. This one says made in Japan. Legally or not, they would often just rip off a Martin guitar, and they're built really well many times. And some of my absolute favorite guitars I've picked up for under $100. This was $65 at Schoolhouse Music. And the strings are old. You ought to hear with new strings. The strap is pretty special to me. This is my dad's camera strap. So all through my childhood in the 1980s, I can remember Dad having this camera strap on his Canon or his Nikon. I think it was a Canon. And that's all my memories of going to, Disney and to Hilton Head and all these places, state parks. I could see Dad's red, white, and blue camera strap. So anyway, he retired that a few years ago, and my neighbor Darla was nice enough to sew that on to the guitar strap. Isn't that nice? So that's where that came from. Had a request for Bullet Hole. There's a lot of stories to tell with this song, but you know what? The song just tells the story, so I'm just going to play it. Every verse is true here, I'll tell you that. There's a stone in Clinton County where a rifle left its sign. When I see it, it reminds me of a long forgotten time when market hunters roam these mountains, chasing elk, deer, and bear. The crack of their Winchester, their missed shot is still here. Bullet hole, just a mark left behind. Bullet hole, just a shadow of that day. Bullet hole, just a mark to remind. Life's a close call, hey, hey. Last night I was picking with some friends at Alsh Gap. They showed me a Woolrich with a whole front to back. They said the man is still living. He took a round to the hip. Just a hole in a Woolrich from a 30-06. Bullet hole, just a mark left behind. Bullet hole, just a shadow of that day. Bullet hole, just a mark to remind. Life's a close call, hey, hey. At the camp where I first hunted, in the kitchen there's a spot. When a man came in from hunting and his rifle went off, oh, the shot went through the ceiling into the bunk room upstairs, just up through the floorboards to a mattress up there. Bullet hole, just a mark left behind. Bullet hole, just a shadow of that day. Bullet hole, just a mark to remind. Life's a close call, hey, hey. Life's a close call, hey, hey. Hey, every verse is true, I promise. One more song for you. I'm going to keep it short tonight. I had a request from my friend Ann for Whiskey and Knives. Whiskey and Knives. Co-written with my friends Brian Crane and Andy Kimball. There's a fun music video to this if you haven't seen it. If you enjoyed the song, look up the music video on YouTube. And another shout out, there is a tip jar linked above if you're able and willing. Click on that. I believe it's set up that you can make $3, $5, or $20 donations. I've had one $20. Thank you. But the $3 and $5 help too, so thank you very much. Post some requests in the comment section and I'll keep these videos coming all week. I'm glad it gives me something to do musically, and it's nice to know that I feel appreciated and people are actually watching these videos. It really does help me through these times, and we're all getting through it in our own ways. Here we go. The coldest winter I ever did know. The winds came hard and so did the snow. I had some provisions, some blankets, some wood. I chose to remain, I figured I should. I had a good fall with the trap and the gun. Took elk and bear and beaver took some. Had me a killing ready to cash in. Winter took hold and I had to dig in. Well, the cold took my mules, spared me my horse. The front took a toll, it rolled in from the north. I had good water, but not so much bread. 13 days later, I was figured for dead. Should have known better than to sharpen my knife after 2 pints of whiskey by a dim firelight. What should have been nothing, just a slip of a blade, turned into a wound that questioned my fate. Set in and I thought I was done. I admit that one night I looked at my gun. The fever it broke and then the hunger set in. It was me or the horse, and the horse didn't win. Now it's been 10 years since now I look back. I am still in the mountains and I still hunt and trap. Horses and mules may save a few lives, but don't mix whiskey with sharpening knives. Whiskey with sharpening knives. Well, thanks for listening, and keep the requests coming. Take care of each other, and if you give me some good requests, I'll be back to do more songs for you another night. And thanks for listening to the Contessa. Don't be fooled by names and dollar signs. A $65 guitar that everybody else passed up in the store. It hung there used. Other people looked at it and thought, oh, how good can that be? It's a Contessa. And they didn't bother playing it. And as you hear, it's got a beautiful tone. And I really like that type of stuff in life. The stuff everybody else looks over because they think it's not valuable or not important. Sometimes those are the best things out there. So I'll close with that thought. Thanks so much.